Possums! Yes, even though I'm from Australia, and this is my last show before your big 4th of July, I thought I'd get a little bit patriotic for you Americans. It's a special time. It's your birthday. Yes, and just in honor of your birthday, you'll see my new ensemble tonight, Possums. I am actually wearing my birthday suit. But I couldn't go all natural on Facebook because the censor people would be after me, wouldn't they? So I had to come up with this makeshift boa and this piece of fabric here, and well, Possums, that's all I'm wearing. Let's hope my boa doesn't slip. And I wanted to have a patriotic theme throughout the entire evening. So when we do the game of games, it'll be a patriotic theme. And I have my special guest, the All-American Don Rickles, will be on in a little while. And I even have a special, instead of my usual martini glass, I decided to buy a special glass just for tonight. I have this lovely party like it's 1776. But this was a little bit, plain for the dame. So I got out my special makeshift make a glass into a special drinking glass. So I've got my special holder here, and then this cup fits right inside it. I'm like a regular Martha Stewart, aren't I? So I already made my drink for tonight. I already made my extra dry martini, and I'm going to put that in there. Isn't it lovely? Look how it just looks so special, so, I don't know. What's the word? Patriotic. So let me have a sip of that just for a moment. Lovely. Lovely. Ooh. Well, what's been happening since last I saw you? Well, I did get to do my special first time on stage, Possums, in front of you're alive, obviously, but I don't see you. I don't hear you. I don't see you. You could be naked in your living rooms as well, for all I know. But I got to appear on stage last Saturday at the Milton Theater in little old Milton, Delaware. It was very special. I got a standing ovation. I think they were just excited to be out of the house. And because, Delaware's had its soft opening, I actually did go out of the house. On my way to the Milton, I went to the mall. I've never been to an American mall. It was quite fascinating. They had all kinds of stores. I think you call it a strip mall. I don't know why, because no one's stripping in the parking lot, thank goodness. They call it a strip mall, and it's all the stores. You just walk right up to the door, of course, masks, and social distancing. And I went into the store you call Staples, and I was wondering what was in there. And of course, I found Staples. So believe it or not, Possums, they sell Staples at Staples. So I looked a few buildings down, and then I saw a lovely name of a store called Dick's. So, of course, I had to go check out Dick's, but that's not what they sold there, Possums. Oh, my. So let me check out a few comments. Let's see who's anyone saying anything spectacular in the room. Oh, some of my, yes, it is the all nude. I don't have my readers on. Yes, a new dame. It's a new dame. It's a new day and a new dame. Oh, that reminds me, someone reminded me that last time, well, actually, a few of the last times, I inadvertently had the wrong information up for people who tried to give me gratuities. So I fixed that, Possums. I fixed that. I apologize for those of you who sent money to a random stranger. No, you didn't, because the information I had just didn't work. So no one got your money. You should have gotten it back by now. But now I have the correct information going on. So I did manage to pull out a few more. People sent them to me, Possums. I did manage to pull out a few more real headlines that are so ridiculous in America that they actually sound like fake news. You're obsessed here in America. Fake news. Is it not fake news or real news? These are real headlines that people, fans, Possums send me. And I'm going to share some of those with you tonight. So let me get them. Once again, real headlines. Now, some of these actually have a very current theme about them. You'll figure that out. Parents keep kids home to protest schools closing. If they're going to keep them home, what's the difference if the school closes? This is lovely. A rally. You've had lots of those in the Americas right now. Rally against apathy draws small crowd. I guess they were apathetic about going to the rally. This is a lovely one. I know your hospitals are quite crowded, not as bad as they were, thank God, but hospitals resort to hiring doctors. That's the headline. Hospitals resort to hiring doctors. The subline was, physician shortage prompting move, administration says. I guess they felt they had to justify the move. Oh, here's one. Keep this in mind, possums. Starvation can lead to health hazards. Really? Had no clue. This is a lovely one. You're all hoping for a cure of the COVID-19. This was some sort of miracle cure for something else. The headline reads, Miracle cure kills fifth patient. I don't know what happened to the first four, but the fifth one, the miracle cure, killed them outright. This is a lovely one, and I didn't plan this, possums. When I decided to go all natural, you see, there's no straps or anything, no sleeves. I'm sleeveless tonight. Nudists, don't you love nudists? Nudists fight erection of towers near beach. Nudists fight erection of towers near beach. I guess it was going to struck the sun. This is a lovely one, and you've got to think about it. Think about it, possums. Total lunar eclipse will be broadcast live. Well, that makes sense. You know, you can watch the lunar eclipse on the telly or on Facebook, but get this, is the rest of the headline. Total lunar eclipse will be broadcast live on Northwood's public radio. On public radio, because a lunar eclipse makes so much noise. It's lovely music when there's a lunar eclipse, isn't there? Can you imagine they're broadcasting about it? Well, the moon's getting darker. It's getting darker. It's getting darker. This went on, I guess, for about, I don't know, half an hour for a total eclipse. Lovely, interesting news on those Northwoods public radio. And finally, possums, you women, pay attention to this. You women that are looking to, be a mom. Study shows frequent sex enhances pregnancy chances. Really? I wouldn't have guessed. So if you want to improve your chance of getting pregnant, possums, you've just got to have more sex. Oh, Lord, possums, let me just check some messages. Let me see who's sending me little hellos and that kind of thing. Oh, you missed me at Rockwood. Well, thank you, but the dame's never been to Rockwood, but maybe I should. More people are on. Oh, yes, Jen Lorius. Don't I look glorious, Jen Lorius? You may have just signed on, but I tried to look patriotic for you Americans, because 4th of July is in a week, You've got to have your barbecues, and all the men will be standing around the barbecue like tribal native men, like Neanderthals, beating about the fire. And you'll all bring those god-awful salads to your friends' houses. What's that salad? It's like green sea foam. It's sort of like marshmallow fluff that's dyed green. It's more appropriate for St. Patrick's Day, but no, you insist on bringing that to the summer barbecues. Speaking of which, interesting weekends. This is the weekend squeezed between last weekend, which was the official start of your summer, and next weekend, which is Your birthday, 4th of July. Nothing like great audio clips. Yes, total eclipse of the audio. But I'm not having that tonight, Possums. No, we're in great shape. And now that we're in great shape, it gives me a great pleasure to welcome straight from hell my dear friend, Don Rickles. So let's bring him on. Let's bring him into the room, Possums. Hello, Possum.
Hello, dame. There ain't nothing like a dame. Nothing in the world. I sounded like Ethel Merman there for a minute, didn't I?
Well, you may have sounded like Ethel Merman, Don, but thank God you look nothing like her.
Well, okay. You know, she was married to Ernest Borgnine only for 6 months because he got tired of hearing every morning he'd wake up. There's no business like every morning. He had to listen to that for crying out loud. I have a favor to ask of you. I lost my urine cup the other day, and I can't find it. It's a cup. It says "Party like it's 1776." If you see it laying around anywhere, don't drink from it.
Well, Don, I guess you left your pee cup at my house because I do have this cup that sounds like something you described.
Oh my goodness!
Convenient, but it's all right, Don. I washed it out because it did have a certain scent to it, Don. A certain scent, sweet scent.
That's good.
And now I'm
I always
drinking.
like to do that when I go to the doctor. What I like to do is I like to put apple cider in my urine cup, and then I'll look at it when they walk in, and I go, you know, it looks a little cloudy. Maybe I'd run it back through again. Anyway,
You know, I should try that with my gynecologist next time. You know, Don, my gynecologist is true. It's part of my entourage. He's over 80 years old, Don. But I like,
really,
yes, but I like him because his handshake, when he's giving me,
thanks for that image. I appreciate that so much. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. By the way,
I,
I've been meaning to ask you, how do you become a dame? Not like how do you become a dame, but how do you become the title dame?
well, it's an English thing, really, Don, and it's quite complicated. And this show is only an hour long, and I'd have to get into the whole British history about knights and dames and sirs and madams but suffice to say, I do prefer the title. It's better than Mrs. Edna Everage. Don't you think Dame Edna Everage has
Oh yeah,
a much lovelier ring to it, Don?
I love Dame Edna. You betcha.
Oh,
Oh,
thank you.
that means I love you. Oh goodness.
Ah, you're looking very good, Don. For someone who's been dead for quite some time, you're doing rather well in hell, aren't you?
It's only 3 years, and I'll tell you, I'm a little crispy on the bottom. The flames shoot up about this high, about right to there, and that burns my butt.
And well, you're a little short, Don. You're a little short, if I
I'm
recall.
only I'm only 5'1".
Well, but you're gifted, Don. You're gifted, aren't you?
I got so much talent. That's why I was never part of the Rat Pack.
Because they wouldn't take you.
No, I was too talented. I would have I would have outshone every one of them.
You
Frank
probably
was that
you
way.
you
Frank
probably
was
would.
getting old. He was getting tired. Dean was getting old and tired. Sammy, well, he was just around. I don't know what the hell they had Peter Lawford in there for.
I didn't even know he was part of the what you call the Rat Pack.
Well, he was. Yeah, I would say he was a token member. The comedian part of him was Joey Bishop, and I never found Joey funny.
Well, I never found Joey Bishop to begin with. I never found him, so I don't know if he was funny or not.
Well, he's gone. He's like all the greats. They're all gone.
But
They're
they're
all,
not with.
you know,
Are
they're
they?
all frying with me down in hell.
I was going to say that. You're sort of, are you drinking, Don? You sort of just leaned out of screen, or were you adjusting your socks?
Uh, I was adjusting something.
No,
But go ahead.
no, Don. You're naughty, Don. You're naughty. I know what you're thinking. You're undressing what little I have on tonight. You're undressing me with your eyes. I can see it.
That's a good thing you can see it because I sure as hell can.
I know.
Can I say that? Sure as hell.
Yes, of course, you can say that. See, you are drinking. It looks. Is it apple cider? Is it your pea cup, or is it something else?
It's prune juice and vodka. Prune
Well,
juice and vodka. It's a sip and go. I sip it and then I gotta go.
yes, Don. Somebody told me that you need a rim shot. You do need a rim shot.
I
What
should have a rim shot.
you need to get a houseboy or something to stand in the background and do a rim shot for you.
Well, wait a minute, Raul. You got a rim shot back there? No. What? Go get the garden. Thank you. Jeez, you can't count on the help these days.
No, you can't.
Hey,
Have you been
I
quarantined in hell, Don?
I am quarantined down there. I'm required to wear a mask. Unfortunately, this is the mask I'm wearing. I look like Don Rickles, so it's just a face mask. It covers the whole head.
Well, it looks lovely. Don, and you are so funny. I've seen your live performance, and I wish you had some people in the audience to pick on because you're so quick-witted. You're so quick-witted.
Who are you?
But don't bump there. I'll give
I
you a rim shot.
well, I appreciate that. You can be replaced, Raul. I got a replacement for you. No, it's the dame. Yeah, she's coming in. She's taking over. What
Well,
day can you be here?
Don, it is my show. You're the special guest on the DE, the Dame Edna live broadcast.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I appreciate being on this show. I appreciate being anywhere. I appreciate just breathing at this point in time. And I know you're all the way. Where the hell are you?
I'm quarantined in Delaware. I mean, I'm normally back at home in Australia, Don, but when this whole corona started, I was performing in Delaware, and now I'm stuck here for quite some time.
Really? Well, you're making the best of it. I, on the other hand, I'm on the West Coast.
On the West Coast, how are things out there?
Well, we've got our ups and downs. It's not like we're not like Florida. I'm actually in Washington State, which was the first outbreak of that COVID-19, and then Washington became an epicenter, and then it moved over to the New York and the East Coast, and they've opened Florida up now, and they're spiking really bad because all the New Yorkers where it was high are going down to Florida, and yeah, so.
Well, Don, you're well read for spending, the last 3 years in hell. You get good reception, I guess. You get good
I do.
broadcasting in hell.
We have cable.
Don, what do you usually? Of course you do. You have all the luxuries. What do you usually say to an ugly? I would love to see you on stage, but we will soon. But what do you say to an ugly person in the front row? What are some of the things you say? Because I love them.
One of the, I look at a guy. Is that your wife? Yeah. How long you been married? 45 years. Jesus. I'm not saying she's ugly, but throw a stick and see if she goes for it, will you? Anyway, I'll tell you this. I'm leaning out again. Whoa. Yeah. I tell you a funny story. Uh, I got hired to do a gig in West Palm Beach, and it was over Passover. And they said it'd be about 40 to 50 people. And I get down there. Well, it was at Trump's Del Mar, or Doral, at Trump's Doral. So I get in there and I'm watching, and they're sitting theater up for like 500 people. And they hired me from my video of Don Rickles. And so they get set up, and they had a comic go on before me. And then I came out, and I walked out into the audience, and I looked, and they had it set up for 500. 460 people showed up. 60 of them were kids. Ooh, who brings kids to a comedy show? So they're all sitting on the ground in front of me, and I'm walking through, and I'm going, "Get out of my way! What the hell's the matter with you? Jeez, I'm walking through a Jewish Red Sea here with kids just lining up." I get out and I look at this couple, and I go, "Is this your wife?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I went, "Jesus, I'm not saying she's ugly, but throw a stick and see if she goes for it." And the whole audience went, "Ooh." And I'm thinking to myself, they hired me from my video. That's exactly my opening. I don't do those gigs anymore.
Well, I was going to say, perhaps they confused you with some other Don, some Don they saw in the Catskills that they didn't realize you last name.
Yeah, they could have confused me with Don Knotts, I could have walked
Well,
out.
perhaps right, that's why children were there, right?
Yeah, could have walked out and gone, "My whole body's a weapon's what it is, Andy." Well, there you go.
well, Don, I have one question for you before I'm going to put you in timeout for a moment. You're going to come back and talk more about your life as Don. But just for a moment as Don Rickles, we got a guest who asked a comment, Don.
Okay.
Cole wants to know how you liked being on The Tonight Show more than 100 times. And was Johnny Carson your favorite host?
Johnny Carson was my favorite host. My second favorite host of all time, Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel, you like Jimmy?
I like Jimmy. I loved Letterman, but Carson was the tops. Letterman second, then Jimmy Kimmel. Fallon, it's down there third. I'm not on Conan that much. I was on Oprah once.
Well, Don, I'm at a loss for words because I thought for sure after Johnny Carson, your favorite host would be me. So
this is my first time with you, Dan.
Well, the first time is always the best, Don. It's always the best, isn't it? But you're a naughty boy.
Yes, it is.
I'm going to put you in timeout just for a bit. You've been naughty, and you just go away, and we're going to come back to you, the real you, in just a little bit. Oh, how could I not be his favorite possums? How awful. That's why I put him in timeout. God bless his little bald head. So for those of you just joining me, yes, I am naked except for your lovely patriotic flag here. I don't know if I can get arrested for that or not, but I'm wearing not really your flag. It's a version of your flag, but I had to have it cut out to cover the bosoms. So let me have a little sip of my drink. So tonight, I told you, Possums, we have a very special game of games. It's got a patriotic theme, Possums. We're going to see just how much you know about your own country and your own country's birthday. I'm afraid that you might not know a lot. I think a few Americans. I studied for the American citizenship test. There was a very difficult questions. And my houseboy, One Long Ho, he was getting his citizenship. And we asked friends of his that were American to try to answer the questions. They failed most of them, Possums. You don't know your own history. You don't know anything about your country. And we're going to prove it right now. So let's see. I've got to get over to the comments. Yeah, so let's see if anyone has any answers. So, question, remember, patriotic theme for 4th of July, Possums. Question number 1. What do you actually celebrate on the 4th of July? What is the actual celebration? All right, I've given you enough time. For those of you who thought it was the signing of the Declaration of Independence, you are wrong. It is not. You actually, your founding fathers, they voted to declare independence from Great Britain on July 2nd. On July 4th, it was the official adoption of the measure by the 12, not all 13, 12 of the colonies. All right, possums. Question number 2. Which of your presidents was the first to hold a 4th of July celebration at the White House? Which of your presidents? I'll give you a few moments. All right. The answer is it was Thomas Jefferson. Yes, good old Thomas. Good old Thomas Jefferson was the first one to throw a party for 4th of July at the White House. God bless him. Question number 3. Believe it or not, one of your presidents was born. How lovely. One of your presidents was born on the 4th of July. Which president? Little sound effects to pass the time. No, Rachel, the moo is not a clue. I'm just playing some lovely animal sounds to pass the time while you think about the answers. So, the president that was born on the 4th of July was Calvin Coolidge. Good old CC, born on the 4th of July. All right. Another question. And I already gave you the answer, so I'm only going to give you a few seconds to think about it because I slipped and gave you the answer. On what date in 1776 did the Congress actually vote? We'll see who was listening. To declare independence. What date? It was July 2nd. July 2nd was the actual date. Here's a good one because you know you love eating food. You've gotten to COVID-19 pounds. Here's a lovely question about food. So, what food is the most consumed product on the 4th of July? That was a gorilla sound. You know what food was consumed mostly? What food is consumed the most on 4th of July, possums? Yes, Beth Acton. You got it right. Hot dogs, Lori Bailey, congratulations. You're such smart possums. I hope you enjoy your wieners. I always enjoy a good wiener. One of the especially extra long wieners I like during 4th of July barbecue. I like wieners for the most part, many times. All right, possums, here's an easy one. Which New England state, so it's a state currently in New England, what New England state was not one of the original 13 colonies? The state that was not one of the original 13 colonies was, drum roll please, no, Todd Chappelle, you're wrong. Well, you know, you actually are right, Todd Chappelle. Maine was one of them, but the actual answer is Maine hadn't actually been discovered yet. The little wedge state that was not part of the colonies yet was Vermont. Yes, but Todd, you get partial points because Maine is also a New England state and it wasn't one of the colonies, but it also at the time of the colonies was not part of the United States, whereas Vermont was. Ooh, that calls for a drink because now I'm confused. All right. Now this is creepy, possums. It's absolutely spooky. So one of your presidents was born on the 4th of July. Remember that, Calvin Coolidge? 2 of your presidents actually died in the same year on 4th of July. Do you know which two presidents in the same year died on the 4th of July? Time's up, possums. The two presidents who died spooky on the 4th of July were actually two of your founding fathers. Yes, John Adams and Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson was 83, and John Adams was a little older, you know. He was 90. So, possums, that is the end of the Game of Games for tonight. The 1776 version. I think actually you are. Most of you watching are intelligent Americans. Bravo on getting the answers right. Now, you know, possums, I don't hold much with impersonators. I don't really like impersonators. I mean, some are good, but some not so good. But this one is good, and that's why I had him on tonight. He really is a hoot. You should check out his website because he is a darling, and you should try to see his shows when he's around your town. The very talented Mike Wally Walter. And now I'm going to get him back in as himself. So welcome back, my good friend, Mike Wally Walter. Hello, Mike. You look so different.
Yeah, I put glasses on. You know, that's that secret thing. Like Superman could hide his disguise just by putting on, look, Superman, Clark Kent, Superman, Clark Kent. That's it. Just eyeglasses, for crying out loud. Dame, it's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, thank you. And you know, it's so funny. I didn't realize, Mike, that you wore glasses. You can't.
I do. Otherwise, yeah. Well, you know what they call people that didn't wear glasses back in the old days?
What?
Food.
Food.
Yes. People that had bad eyesight back in the early ages was called food. Look, there's a dinosaur. What?
Oh, you mean during the dinosaur age?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yes, I suppose.
Oh, by the way, Dame.
Yeah.
By the way, Dame, I just want to tell you, you are my number 2 favorite guest host or host of a show that I've been interviewed on. Number 2.
Well, I don't know how I feel about being number 2, Mike, especially after you've been drinking prune juice.
Easy come, easy go. You know what I say? Anyway, you're a wonderful host, and it's just a pleasure to be here. And I think eventually what we should do is, as a couple, is the Don and Dame show, or the Dame and Don show.
Well, ladies first, Don. Ladies first. So it'll be the Dame and Don show. But Mike,
Absolutely.
I'm so curious. You're a lovely possum, Mike. You're a lovely. I could just squeeze you if we weren't so distanced. You're just so lovable. You are.
Well, thank you.
You know, and Don Rickles, the real Don Rickles, I think he voiced the Mr. Potato on the Toy Story films, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He did all the. In fact, the last Toy Story 4, was dedicated to Don. That was
Yes.
his last time as Mr. Potato Head.
Well, and when your time runs out doing Don Rickles, I think you could do Mr. Potato Head. Your head is scrumptious, possum. You look like Mr. Potato Head. You could just.
Well, I'll tell you this. I get up in the morning and I got to put my teeth in, and then I got to put my hearing aids on, and then I got to put my glasses on so I can see. I really am Mr. Potato Head.
Yes, I think you got to put all those pieces on. You need to get a hair.
I do.
Get a hair piece to put. That'll just, or a hat, just a hat that plugs to the top of your head. That would be.
Why would I want hairpiece?
Well, just so you could complete the look of Mr. Potato Head. But
okay, yeah.
Tell my listeners, Mike, they're going to check you out at your website. But listen, tell my listeners how, and my watchers, my listeners. I think I'm on the radio watching the lunar eclipse.
Yeah.
How did you start doing Don Rickles? When did it start?
It started probably. I've been a comedian for 38 years, and probably 9 years ago. I was performing in a show in Laughlin, Nevada. I was the comedy star of a show called Showgirls and Rhinestone Cowgirls. They were topless reviews, Dame. There I was. Yeah. I was in the topless review for a year, and my breasts are still sore. Anyway, I had seven lovely showgirls in my show, seven beautiful showgirls, and I was in the dressing room right next to them. I'll
Wow.
tell you this, Dame. Yeah, first week I was there, I found a hole in the wall that looked right into their dressing room. Yeah, I was going to plug it up, but I figured, what the hell? Let them look, if they need to.
Well, I think it's wonderful. And you have won, you go to a convention of impersonators in Sunburst, you do? Sunburst Convention in Florida?
I'm actually going to do it again this year. I've registered for it, and I plan on being there. Sunburst Convention of Celebrity Impersonators. Yeah.
Lovely. And
that's where I met you for the first time in 2013.
Well, yes, I made a guest appearance as the real thing. But so you won funniest male 3 times, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And
then I was put into the Hall of Fame underneath, right behind a gentleman by the name of Scott F. Mason, who was an extremely funny man.
Well,
and,
I don't. He's my manager, Don. He's my Don. I'm calling you Don. You're such a good lookalike, Mike. Scott Mason is my manager, and I don't think he's funny at all. But if you think he's funny, well, God bless you. God bless you, Mike. I'll pass it on. I'll pass it on to him when I horribly have to see him again. I'll pass it on. But Mike, the hour is getting late, and I must do my taste testing, and I have to do my bedtime story. But I loved having you on here. Is there any last things you want to say to my guest, Mike?
I just want to say thank you so much for having me on the show. I've enjoyed it immensely. You've just shot up to the as my favorite interviewer of all time.
Oh,
I look forward to one day working with you. I think that would be great. The Dame and Don show would be a wonderful experience. I do have a lot of friends. I have a lot of friends that I told to tune into this, so I hope they're there. If they are, I want to say hi to John Monforto and to Ron Pinnell. And I feel like I'm on Romper Room. Did you remember that show? Did they have it in the East or in Australia, Romper Room, where she'd look in the mirror? Yeah, she'd look in the mirror and go, "Oh, look, it's a birthday party out there. I want to say happy birthday to the Dame, and I want to say happy birthday to so and so." And I see you, and they can never see you, but it was the I see you too mirror that she would hold it up, and nothing. Anyway,
Mike,
people are out there and they're watching.
You lost me at Romper Room, Mike. You lost me at Romper Room. But I've loved having you here. I'd love you. You're a wonderful possum, and I hope to see you soon. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Thank you, Dame. I appreciate it, and I hope to see you soon.
Yes. Bye-bye. Wasn't he lovely, possum? Simply lovely. Well, I'd like to thank Mike for being here and his Don Rickles because he's just such a lovely fellow. Now it's time for my lovely taste testing. So, because I tried to find something that was American, I decided tonight that we're going to try taste testing M&M, such an all-American candy. But I have to say, possums, I'm a little bit reluctant to taste M&Ms because I watch your telly and I see those commercials with the talking life-size M&Ms. And it's like seeing a cow before you go for a steak or watching Charlotte's Web and then feeling like a ham sandwich. I see those little guys on the commercials talking and I feel cannibalistic, but nonetheless, I've had enough to drink. I'll give taste testing M&Ms a whirl. Cleanse the palate. So first off, we've got coffee nut. Now this is what cracks me up. Before we talk about this, This is coffee nut, and I think it's a little blurry, but it's the sharing size. Now, I also got this other size packet. You can tell it's smaller. All right, you can see the difference between the two packets. And both are called the sharing size. So is the small sharing size for losers who have no friends, so they can only share it with perhaps two people? And the big sharing kind is for people who have lots of friends, popular people like me. I'd need a much bigger bag than this for all my friends. So let's see what we've got here. Coffee nut. Sounds like someone who likes Dunkin' Donuts coffee. Very noisy. Possums, I'm going to have to pass on the coffee nuts. You know when you leave the coffee pot on too long and the coffee starts burning and you can smell it all over the house? Oh, God. That's what the coffee nut tastes like. Oh, Lord have mercy, help us. All right. Next up, almonds. I know they have peanut M&Ms, but these are almond M&Ms. Oh, my Lord, Possums, these nuts are huge. These nuts are very big. Look. No, Beth, I agree. Beth Acton just said on the comments she doesn't like them. I don't like them either. Oh, Lord. I can barely taste the chocolate because the almond inside is so big. Just eat an almond, it's much healthier. Let's see what's next. Oh, this cracked me up, Possums. This flavor, I've got to adjust. This flavor is called orange creamsicle. Now, when I had Twizzlers on the show with my good friends Todd and Rachel, there was orange creamsicle Twizzlers. What is your obsession with these orange creamsicles? I mean, does Mr. Softy not come around your neighborhood quite often enough that you've got to have other things flavored like an orange creamsicle? Listen, I spent years with a Mr. Softy. So let's see. Now, this is quite interesting, Possums, because they're white. They look like Mentos. They're not even colorful. They're all white. Don't you think the orange creamsicle flavor should be orange, don't you think? Oh, wait, there is an orange one. I'm brilliant. I'm psychic. I didn't even know that. I just opened the bag. That is scrumptious, Possum. Scrumptious. I could eat this whole bag. I think one of the big nuts is stuck in my throat. Just a second. All right, that's much better. All right, now that's much better. Yes, I swear to God, there was a piece of nut stuck in my throat. Don't say anything, Possums. Oh, here's a lovely one. Caramel. What do you say, caramel in America? Caramel. Let's see. All right, Possums. It tasted okay, but it's a texture thing. Just like having a caramel candy in the Whitman sampler. It's really caramel in there. So it's not like an M&M. An M&M you chew once or twice and done, you swallow it. It's like taking a pill, but not the M&M caramels. They're very chewy. It's not what you expect from an M&M. So I'm going to have to pass. So far, the orange creamsicle, I recommend it, Possums. I recommend it. Here's an interesting one. Green bag. I thought it was for St. Patrick's Day on clearance, but no. It's a mint M&M. Mint M&Ms. Let's test this out. I can't get the bag open. Oh, there we go. Oh, these are quite large, too. They're big. And they're all different shades of green. These are like eating a Girl Scout. A cookie, that is. You know those mint things that the Girl Scouts sell? Oh, it reminds me once of a news item, Possums. Girl Scouts, they didn't want to increase the cost of their cookies. This is a true story. Several years back, they kept raising the prices and people were complaining. So instead of raising the price, the Girl Scouts shrunk their cookies. Did you hear about that? It's true. Girl Scouts shrunk their cookies. And to keep up with them, the Boy Scouts shrunk their wieners. And the Cub Scouts took the nuts out of the brownies. All right, so let's see. Last but not least, hazelnut spread, Possums. Hazelnut spread. Let's check this out. There's a lot of nuts. Did you notice that tonight? It's going to bode well with my bedtime story. Hazelnut. Oh, they're multicolored, just like M&Ms. So you could fool someone and put them in the bowl. The mint taste, the Girl Scout taste is still in my mouth. Let me try another 2 or 3. Hazelnut spread. Hazelnut spread. That sounds like a stripper. Hazelnut spread, I have to say, it doesn't have much of a taste at all. It really doesn't, Possums. Either that or my taste buds have been shot to hell by the Girl Scout mints. So tonight's winners, go out and buy the mint M&Ms and the orange creamsicle M&Ms. I should be getting money from the M&Ms company, don't you think? So let me get all these M&Ms, get all these nuts out of the way. I have to adjust my flag. Don't want a peep show on the Dame Show. So tonight's story, Possums. Wait, I always need a drink before we start the book reading because it just makes me laugh. Whew. All right, tonight's story, Possums. Tonight's story, just a second. Let me get it to do this. There we go. Tonight's story, Possums, is Susie Likes to Look at Balls. All right, let's see. Susie likes to look at balls. And if you play a sport, chances are before too long, she'll take a look at yours. This book she wrote for you and me just to clue us in on all the balls that Susie's seen and where those balls have been. Oh, good Lord. This is awful. I guess he was alive when he wrote it, but not anymore. Sad, he's in heaven. God bless him. So it's a picture of Tiger Woods and Michael Jackson. Tiger's balls are small and white, just like Michael Jackson's. These two guys are socialites, They've both seen lots of action. Tiger puts his balls in holes and keeps them out of sand. So, oh God, Lord. While Michael proudly shows his balls to boys at Neverland. God bless you, Michael. Oh no, they didn't. Oh God, possums. I think this is the raunchiest one yet. Bruce Jenner ran decathlons. He took Olympic gold. But today, I'm sad to say, he has no balls to hold. I don't know what went down. He must have lost a bet. Bruce's balls are Caitlin's now. I'm sure he has regrets. They drew Bruce and Caitlin Jenner. Now we're up to Pamela Anderson. Pam has soft and bouncy balls, the kind that must be seen. Hugh Hefner knows how all that goes. They're in his magazine. There's Hugh. I think he's dead too. This should be back 2 weeks ago when I did my game show, Who's Dead and Not Dead. Hugh Hefner's balls were big and bold, the finest balls around. Then one day Hugh got old. Now his balls drag on the ground. Oh, good Lord, possums. Oh no. Serena brings some lovely balls to the tennis scene. She has fuzzy little yellow balls, yellowish and green. It's Serena, the tennis player. I think these balls might just be what make her such a threat. The other girls out on the court haven't got a set. Serena tries to keep them hidden, because if they're verified from the Women's Tennis League, she'll be disqualified. Oh, God. All right. I went backwards. Hold on. Here we go. Oh, Lord. David Beckham. David Beckham thinks his balls look nice, and it seems the world agrees. He showed his balls once to Posh Spice. The rest is history. Here's David Beckham marrying Posh Spice. Ernie is not at all impressed by what David Beckham's got. He thinks that Spice Girl looks depressed since having tied the knot. Ernie's rented shoes and his wrist brace made David laugh out loud. See, David took Posh bowling, and then there's this hideous guy, schlubby guy with his wrist brace and his stuff. But the eyes lit up on Posh's face when Ernie pulled his ball sack out. There's Ernie's ball sack. Ernie's balls were beautiful, big, hard, and round. When he slid his fingers in, Posh made a funny sound. Oh, possums. Ernie rolled those big old balls for a split and then a strike. Now David knows it's Ernie who's got the balls that ladies like. Oh, possums, that's the end of the story. Wasn't it lovely? Wasn't it lovely? I wish I could hear you applauding, but I can't. I did learn something before I leave you. We've got a couple minutes left. And before I leave you tonight, I'll share something with you that I learned at the food store, grocery store, as you say. I learned that kiwi fruit. Have you seen kiwi fruit? Those little green hairy things. There's no kiwi fruit that's exactly the same size as another. They're all different, like snowflakes, possums. So the question is, can you tell though? Can you tell because they look the same size? But apparently, no. Apparently, one is smaller than the other. So, not. So, what happens is that if you put them, ladies, if you put those round, hairy things, those two little hairy green balls in your hand, can you feel the difference? Are you used to that, ladies, putting two balls in your hand, hairy balls, and feeling the difference? If you put the kiwi fruit in your hand, you sort of can. You can tell. You can feel it around, squish it around a little bit. You can tell that one of those balls is definitely bigger than the other. And that's what I found out, possums. You know, you always learn something here on the Dame Show, just like you learned about your birthday. So, possums, with that, I must go to bed. I'm cold. It's cold in the studio. If I was better endowed as a woman, my flag might be sticking out. So, possums, I will come back in July. But meanwhile, please enjoy your 4th of July holiday. So, you have a 3-day weekend. Even working from home, it's a 3-day weekend. So, until I see you after your birthday, your country's birthday, possums, have a great night and be safe. Mwah! Good night, possums. Good night.